Hey everybody, it's Trainers103 here today with another ranked analysis. We're again looking at the Silicon Pimp. It's on an A server. I guess before we get this replay going, it's a pre-record from Saturday, but published obviously today on Sunday, as I'm playing in the King of the Sea tournament, hopefully. We'll, see how well that goes. But back to this replay at hand. Reading out the email, we spawn on the south side of the map and ball up heading below the middle island between A and B cap. We encounter the enemy at the right side cap and engage them, getting an early kill on the Z-23. One of their DDs managed to torp out Ottogo to death somehow, due derp, and our other cruiser gets deleted by the enemy Alabama that was flanking to the left side of the map. I decided to use my concealment and the present cover to pop out, blast either the Yaki or the New Orleans on the enemy team, or the Lol Yang if he presents himself, and then reverse back a bit to stealth up again. The idea was that if they wanted to torp me, they would have to push around the right-hand side of the island, and odds are our two destroyers present would spot them and allow us the ability to blap whichever destroyer decided to perform such a move. I was also angled to the armor gear that was on Overwatch fire, and will be angled to any torps coming from ahead. The enemy Babbitt manages to get some flanking fire on me and the Turpit's left side, which prompts us to push up into the cap to deal with the two hurt enemy destroyers, Armagi and Edinlol. New Orleans was sunk earlier, though through concealed fire, the Turpits and I found the enemy Armagi who showed way too much broadside. By the way, broadside Armagi isn't really a bad thing, you just need to know where to shoot it. Our two destroyers also focused him for some reason instead of making use of their far superior health to push the two enemy destroyers who managed to get a flanking position on our battleships. Luck we didn't lose a battleship to them. Lastly, we finish off the rest of the enemy team, but lose our Turpits and nearly our two destroyers in the process. As for this game, I feel confident in my strategy and tactics that I employed, with the exception of showing as much broadside as I did to the Alabama. If he had great aim, he could have deleted me. Not so much, it's just about RNG, by the way. Comment from me. Strangers. Mid-game, which would leave our Turpits alone in the push, and would have cost us the game. The other fuck-up was pushing too hard when we did our push. I got myself trapped between showing broadside to the enemy Armagi or the two enemy destroyers, because I moved up too far and in too shallow. A wider approach, I feel, would have been better, as the only reason I made it out of there was because the two enemy DDs failed to punish me for it properly. Lastly, I failed to get the kill on the Edinlol or the Alabama, which cost me my Kraken. Still salty about that. Well, we'll see. If you would like some bad replays instead of the good ones, happy to send them over, blah, blah. Yeah, I realize that good replays don't usually leave much feedback. They actually do. Good replays and bad replays alike give room for feedback, because I can still confirm a right or wrong move, right? But yeah, thank you again, strangers. You're welcome, and I really enjoy watching this kind of stuff, because it's nice, it's nice. It feels nice for me to be able to, help people, and, for those that might not be certain and feel confident in their play, to be able to provide them, feedback on what they should and shouldn't do. Anyways, we're kind of sitting open here. It's much more of an Armagi position than anything else, but the chances are the enemy team's going to acquire this cap unless we get some serious blatting on the enemy destroyers right now. And we're kind of exposed here, so we're kind of shootable by the rest of the team. Normally I'd suggest sitting on the other side of it, but, again, we're North Carolina. We don't really have the ability to pick and choose here because, we're not the fastest ship in the world. Our Benson actually managed to torp down the Z-23. Bloody good job there. We can easily shoot over this island. We're North Carolina. What the dispersion crap? Oh, if we picked up a bunch of hits there, that could have been the deletion on the Aki, or at least a big delete on the Aki there. There you go. And we're back to play camera. It should be gone now. Regardless, looks like our Charles Baguette is actually taking a bit of damage right now. The New Orleans is just sitting in the open right now. I'm not really sure what he thinks he's going to achieve there without a smoke screen, but okay, fine. So, I think we're aiming a little bit too low there, I think. But we'll see what happens to these shells. Yeah, it's slightly on the low end, so we don't have to pick up any good hits. And now we're aiming a little bit too far back. Any of these shells that impact his belt are going to simply deflect. Though we do get quite lucky, we pick up more hits on his damageable sections over anything else. But regardless, for points advantage, because we do pick up an enemy Z kill, and it looks like the Aki came back to smoke the New Orleans, so unfortunately we can't actually pick up the hit on him anymore, and our Artico is probably off the Hydro right now, so there's no one actually left to spot him. Launching a plane, unless the Armagi is hidden behind something, the plane should spot the Armagi. There we go. It's a float plane scout, so, 15-kilometer acquisition. The Armagi is concealed, isn't the world's best. He's kind of reasonably angled right now, so there really isn't much of a point in shooting at the Armagi right now. It's just mostly a waste of ammunition, to be completely fair. Tempest is going ham with secondary, so if anything we shoot HE at that, we'd do just fine, but hey. We're actually spotted right now, so let's just hope the New Orleans decide to shoot us. That's definitely something I think our front can derp over. Yeah, one shell, correction, went over. If we gone forwards, we can actually continue to shoot that. Now, we're not in a bad position overall, so I don't really think it's too bad of a thing. But we do kind of need to be careful in case the enemy's Alabama does decide he wants to make a bit of a move, as our Otago almost gets himself deleted by torpedoes. That's really horrible. I'm pretty sure those are Lol Yang torpedoes, because I'm pretty sure he took a bunch, otherwise he would actually have gone down in full, and it looks like the Aki even managed to sneak out and pop some torpedoes against the guy. Without his Hydro, he kind of was just useless there in a way, and should have extracted himself a lot earlier. Looks like our plane is gone, kind of to be expected. Edlol's poking out, but it's not really the world's best shot. If we aim a little bit low and aim for his stern section, we might just be able to pick up a Citadel, and that's pretty much exactly what we're aiming for, and he's kind of overturning, so let's hope for luck. No, we don't, but we do at least pick up all 3 hits. And our Baguette's even managed to get himself killed. Like, come on, guys, it's a Baguette. You press W and sail around with engine boost. It's not that difficult, is it? Well, apparently for that guy it was, and he did bleed a lot of damage in the early stages of the game. Now the enemy team is also locking down our Alpha Cap, and we're now actually on ship disadvantage as this New Orleans reverses towards us. I probably would have poked a shot on him just to hope for luck. But regardless, we kind of need to try to do something right now. And I mean, realistically speaking, I wasn't that big of a fan of the North Carolina unless there was a carrier in the game. I just didn't think it was that good of a ship. It's too slow, doesn't have the ability to react, and kind of just gets you locked down. So if you're going to get yourself locked down, you want a good position. And, you know, an Armagee would have performed just as fine sitting ass on here, reversing towards the enemy, and, you know, hey. Although, of course, you know, New Orleans can actually do a lot of damage to us by spamming HE, because 32mm of armor everywhere. Regardless, without a float plane scout being available, we're pushing towards the concealment Armagee, actually. But we're spotted by some destroyers ahead of us. So we kind of need to be careful, and there we go. We do actually pick up a spot on the Akitsuki. I would aim center of mass right now. The guy's going to de-reverse and start going forwards. Although we do actually pick up quite a good shot on him, 6k damage, very nice there. But at this point, I would seriously consider just angling my my front into the area so that we can keep the speed moving and push towards the island. Because we can easily ram our, ram the tip of our ship into this island and just keep it behind there, easily be able to tank these guys, still able to spot them, but they cannot torpedo us. And also, of course, we can make sure that the Alabama, which has now, by the way, pushed further towards the west, is not in a position to engage us. So I would just go forwards, get low so that they can't actually shoot the front bow areas with HE, because that's the only part of 32mm armor that we're facing. But now just reversing, we do need to be careful. Oh, the Arkin decides he wants to poke out, so that's definitely going to be torpedoes inbound. I would definitely engines ahead flank instead of trying to angle against them. And also shoot the Arkin. The New Orleans doesn't have really an ability to conceal himself. Sure, most of our guns are facing the New Orleans, but that's not the problem. The New Orleans is not the threat at this point. Getting rid of the Akitsuki or making him, you know, really, really low HP is the more important target. Oh, why this is way too greedy in my opinion. I think this is a big mistake we're making here engaging the New Orleans. Definitely would have shot the Akitsuki. But we do at least kill something, but it's something we could have killed later on, in my opinion. Now, we need to be careful because check out that Alabama. He's just been spotted on the broadside, and there's probably going to be salvos incoming soon if he gets himself in a position to engage us. So we need to either push through Bravo, and there we go, incoming, 4.7k damage. Thankfully, Alabama dispersion isn't very good, but that immediately makes us aware of the fact that the guy is there. So we now need to actually make something happen. Our Turpus is just sitting here as well, and it looks like the Turpus realizes this. In all fairness, this Turpus has been playing pretty poorly. The Turpus should have been wide over here. He could easily be in a position to engage this Alabama and at least suppress him and grab his attention. Looks like the guy's just sitting there stationary, but we're taking fire from him as well. Not the world's best aim from the Alabama, and he doesn't actually citadel us. He just gets lucky with a 3 full penetration hits against us. Hopefully we can get a good punish on him in return. Yeah, we kind of trade it. We get the worst end of the trade there. But, you know, we're not in a good position yet, so we kind of need to try to achieve something. Edenlol's pushed through, and looks like the enemy team is smoked without considering who's actually doing the spotting. So Araki actually smokes and pushes ahead. But I would not fire right now. I would engines ahead flank, get myself forward so that the Alabama can't shoot. Because he can still shoot us over this if he's in a position, and you can see exactly where the plane's landing. He can still shoot us if we stop here. But we do actually pick up a hit against, I think, the Aki, so that's kind of nice for us. But just remembering smoke changes, you know, we will get spotted shooting. But the Armagee is not in a position to engage us, and the Armagee at this point, he should be, instead of heading towards A, he should be going up there and just shoot HE, load skill and shoot HE at us. Plane spots us, but entering the smoke kind of takes away that ability. That's the Lol Yang shooting away. I think that's a little bit high aim there. You see, we're aiming at the trace, the muzzle flash in the beginning of the tracer, which is on the end of the barrel, which is mounted high up on the ship. So hey, let's hope that the enemy torpedoes don't find good targets and the amount of fish we send towards them picks up a kill. But the Lol Yang probably has hydro up, so you know there's not really the world's best chance overall. Turbines might be going a little bit ham here on the Armagi, but the Armagi is positioning himself very, very poorly. Like, okay, if we get lucky, we can do like 15k damage to that. If we get incredibly lucky, we can actually get a Citadel, but it's kind of unlikely. And there you go. We see, you know, you see we pick up almost 20k, which is actually pretty good considering it's an Armagi we just shot. So, you know, that guy's making a mistake, and he should have been kiting, but then again, this is NA server, so I don't expect skillful Armagi gameplay in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I just expect them to be sitting in the bow. I give up. The way of the Armagi is not that difficult. Ass towards enemy, shoot HE. Like, that's the simplest way I can put it. Anyways, the guy's starting to angle in, and there you go. Much more expected result. The guy shoots us, and actually gets a front end Citadel through here, so that's a bit unfortunate for us. We do bleed a lot more health than we did to him, which is kind of horrible. But hey, if you want to shoot an Armagi at this kind of an angle, let's see if we enter the scope again, so I can see just to demonstrate, point out where you want to be shooting. But like, you want to be landing your shells in the front area there, not the back area. Let's see. As the Lol Yang gets spotted, we do actually pick up the kill though, so it works out quite nicely. We do get quite lucky with our dispersion. Can we get a double strike? Yes, we can. Secondaries pick up the kill, and I don't think the guy actually torpedoed properly, so we do actually get the elimination on the enemy's Lol Yang there as well. There's just the Aki left. But, you know, currently is kind of invis. But in the process of pushing, the turrets did bleed quite a lot of health. We need to aim a lot farther ahead than that, because, one, it's a rare turret with front turret camera, but we do actually pick up a Citadel. That's incredibly lucky over there. Turbis is bleeding quite a lot of health, and Aki shows up, the guy that we did not finish earlier, in favor of finishing the New Orleans. I honestly believe that's a bit of a mistake, because the Aki torpedoes had quite an impact on the Turbis later on, and New Orleans would not be able to do that. We do get lucky with a full pen on his tail, so we actually eliminate that as well. Quite nicely done. But I believe that finishing him off earlier would have been a much more important and valuable elimination for us. Anyways, we're unspotted now because, well, actually we're going to get respotted. I thought it was a float plane scout, but it wasn't. I think the Turbines actually managed to pick up that kill. There's no point in even shooting at that, because that's never going to get to clip him at all. Even with the front turrets going over the island, they're just going to land behind. And speaking of islands, we've now managed to hit one. The only enemy remaining ships are the ones currently in their cap, so we still have a reasonable amount of health, although our Aki gets shot at a little bit. It's not that big of a deal if he doesn't show complete ass and get himself, deleted. Armagi is actually counter-pushing back against us, and it looks like the plane got shot down, so we don't need to do that because we can actually see him, and a little bit high on the aim. I'm not sure if the field of view on his screen and his rendering meant that he could not see the waterline of the Alabama or part of his hull and properly aim against that. But I definitely count on my screen over here. I guess it could just be a field of view issue with his setup. That meant that he couldn't actually see the part of the hull of the Alabama and aim properly, because this version did actually let us maybe get a Citadel, but we did aim a little bit on the high end. DD doesn't need a spot. We could launch our plane to spot that. It's going to get insta-spotted. Aiming a little bit central there, going for his magazines, I guess, yeah. But the dispersion says nope, and all we get is 7k damage. Looks like the Aki's decided he wants to open fire. We're currently in points advantage, so we kind of just need to be a little bit passive or turn around and defend the Bravo cap. This does mean that we have a reasonable situation to be in. Look at the north. The Alabama decides to actually MLG, and he actually gets some hits on the Aki. I don't think the Aki's making miss. Oh, they're probably radared. Anyways, the Edenol confirms his position as well. There is absolutely no real problem with these guys shooting right now, because I have a fishy feeling they're actually being radared, but looks like the Alabama took some torpedoes, so right now we could, if we wanted to, just go insert gun. More torpedoes from the Benson, this time going in, but at this point I would just push in and insert gun, because the Aki did actually get a torpedo hit on the Alabama, which is quite nice. So it looks like he's going to aim to finish the guy off with guns, or at least set some fires, but I'm not sure if he has IFHE or not, and he's actually getting bled out on health, but in all fairness, it's not a big deal. Bama launches a plane, it's not really a problem either. We have the health to tank him. overall, so we just need to go in there, aim for superstructure, and finish the guy off. But he is reversing, so our slightly slower shells mean we need to go a little bit more ahead to get the shots on him. There we go. Now we should be able to engage over the island, aiming for a superstructure, all we need to do. Even our rare toads can't shoot over that, and come on, give us luck. One more hit before the... Never mind, Benson picks up the kill. And the Admiral seems to be stuck in an island, so again, we can kind of get away with just inserting gun on him, although we do need to be careful if we die at this point. There is a good chance that the Admiral can actually kill off the last 2 enemy destroyers. Well, for him, our allied destroyers, and actually secure the game. But it's unlikely because points are likely going to tick in our favor. And there you go, we're making the right choice. We're kind of breaking away and keeping distance. Because our plane, well, it's circled to the wrong side, but he just shot, so our plane is going to spot him. So just keeping distance is the right move to make here. Because we have points advantage, we have no reason whatsoever to push against him. And then Lol really should have gone towards B a lot earlier. He could maybe have made a bit of a move, because him just sitting there achieved nothing. That's a little bit of an overlead, so all we do is get a bunch of lol pens. But he's going to super heal right now. If we aim a little bit further ahead, but you know, plane was up. But if we aimed the lol pen his Citadel, I think we could actually finish him off in one fell swoop. Ah well. And it looks like the Admiral didn't actually get much out of that heal. There's no reason whatsoever. This is a pretty big mistake if we're going for the Kraken. Big mistake here. We're only got our front turrets. We could have waited a little bit because remember, we're within 5 kilometers range. We have a penalty to our accuracy, and we're not going to get the kill. Here's the thing. Even if they had Edinburgh torpedoes, the moment we kill him and our guns will load and get the shells to the Edinburgh way before his torpedoes reach us, we could finish the Edinburgh off and the game will instantly end. And this is why I pause it right here, because watch, the Edinburgh is now dead and bam, game's over. Even if the torpedoes had been in the way, coming to us, he would not have killed us. They would not even have reached us. So we made the mistake of just not keeping our main battery, aiming on the Admiral, and get ourselves the Kraken, which would have been an amazing result there with 6 rewards there. Confederate, double strike with secondaries into a, from high caliber, and a Dreadnought surviving quite a bit of a beating. Although we kind of got, in a way, lucky the Alabama didn't get good dispersion. It's not so much about the Alabama's aim, as you mentioned earlier in your email that I read out. It is actually a lot more about his dispersion. If the Alabama dispersion says, screw you, Alabama, he's not hitting anything. Because of just the Sigma and overall the fact that the guns really aren't that reliable. But then again, our guns weren't really displaying the best sense of reliability either, not really picking up the damage that we kind of wanted them to pick up. But then in the end, 150k damage is definitely not a bad result. North Carolina is a very solid anchor of a ship, but it is not good at all in being a kind of, mobile, aggressive, and reactionary. You kind of just stuck there, and if the enemy had an Armagi that knew how to play. In all fairness, this should have been a defeat for you guys, because the Armagi could have just ran away, spammed you guys down with HE, combined with the torpedoes against the Turpets. Turpets would have died, and you would have been next to the chopping block, just sitting there. And there's nothing you can do about an Angle Armagi running away from you, spamming HE in return. You're sure you can hit him for like 8k damage in his tail, but he's going to shoot you for 5k damage with HE, set you on 2 fires, and you're just going to burn down eventually. And with 2 destroyers torpedoing away at you, you're just, because we didn't actually pick up the Akitsuki, or at least try to pick up the Akitsuki earlier on in the game, that did actually cost the Turpets 1 extra torpedo hit in the end. So, for the most part, I highly suggest engaging enemy destroyers before engaging anything else. The New Orleans can be dealt with later on. And if New Orleans wants to stick around to shoot at the Allied destroyers and use his radar, he's going to again expose himself to us, because we were working very closely with the friendly destroyer fleet. So yeah, let's see if I can actually... Team scores, here we go. 2.5k base XP, very good result there. 1.6k on the Benson, 1.5 on the Aki. These guys did do a pretty good job overall. Enemy Bombers actually managed to get himself top on the scoreboard. But, he made a bit of a good move trying to get around the map and whatnot. So, again, important thing to note. This game was a lot earlier in the season, so I guess at this point everyone is still in the 5 to 10 bracket, at least the one that worked like 12-hour grind a day kind of playing through them. Data report screen, 34k on the Armagi. The guy exposed himself, a pretty nice broadside against us, so we did actually get the decent damage. We did actually get pretty lucky, in a way lucky with RNG. you know, while RNG didn't really favor us with some of the other shots against, for example, I think Alabama, it did actually favor us against the Armageddon. I mean, a part of that is this guy just playing poorly with these really silly NA tendency to sit there bow onto shit, which is stupid. You know, along with the death blobs, which again is really poor play. I mean, I wouldn't say much about any other server because death blobs are a thing everywhere. It's just human nature, and you know, an impression of strength in numbers. I highly suggest you guys actually watch the video from yesterday titled "The Psychology of Ranked: How to Win Without Actually Getting Better," because it's very important to note how this kind of thing works and how the human mind works, kind of for just for the games overall, and how the mentality doesn't really fit with the realistic design of the game that you want, and how you really want to be playing it anyways. See, there you go, credits and XP, no premium, but we also don't have the premium scout plane, which is a bit unfortunate. We could have gotten it back earlier, but the important thing is we had heal and damage control party, which we never really got to use fully. We didn't really damage control party stuff as much as I know. But overall, a very good result for a decent amount of credits there as well, especially without a premium account. Though, you know, yeah, there we go. We can see we do have a little bit of servicing cost reduction there, so, you know. But, ooh, we actually have a camouflage resupply cost there as well. Ah, well, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. We'll see what we fish out for tomorrow on Monday. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Oh, by the way, if you want to submit any replays, the, you know, description will have a email. Send me a, you know, quick, you know, give me a good looking title, something to catch my interest, and something to describe your replay, like this amazing description we had from our hero of today, describing his thought processes and really giving me a lot of things to comment on, despite, like he mentioned at the end, you know, realize that good replays don't usually leave much feedback, but you'd be surprised there's a lot of feedback you can get from any replay, be it a good or bad one. Just that a lot more of the feedback is going to be on the good moves, but in this case you saw quite a lot of things that I believe could have been improved on, that could have maximized our chances for the game. Things just to try to keep in mind, but of course when you're actually in the fight, in the thick of it, a lot of these things, even for me, do slip up. But yeah, hopefully you like this, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.